What's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show for the OMFL. I am your host, Nate, the commissioner of OMFL and the founder of the OMFL and the founder and creator of the Grown Folks online community. None of that stuff matters. Who cares? Thanks for tuning into the show today. I am super excited that you guys are with us. It is playoff time for season 79, and as you can see, I'm flying solo today. None of my buddies are with me. We had a really busy weekend this past weekend. No one was able to join me over the weekend. Mr. Dawson had a chance, but he admitted he was being lazy, which he has earned the right to be. And when you work as hard as he is, you can take the weekend off if you want to take the weekend off. Mr. D. Wayne is finally coming back from vacation, but Bill is busy this afternoon. So hopefully the whole crew will be back as we do a recap and a state of the league address at the end of season 79. And we talk Madden 19. That's right. Today is the last day. If you have the beta, play Madden 19. Play that beta. Get that feedback out to them. They're doing a lot of improvements already. They already put out patches, man. That just goes to show you. I think that this team is dedicated to getting Madden 19 as good as they possibly can. Let's talk some OMFL football, man. It is playoff time, and this is the most exciting time unless you're a team like me who's had a really rough year. This is the time to do it, man. It is funny. Every season, we have playoffs at the very end, and we also have I wonder what's up with this. We also have our Toilet Bowl playoffs where teams who did not make the playoffs, they can be a part of the Toilet Bowl. They can play for some XP. They can play for some prizes and still stay engaged. Well, no one's hardly signed up for the Toilet Bowl, but you still have time. If you want to sign up, make sure that you message Dawson. You let him know that you want to play in the Toilet Bowl so that we'll make sure that we get you in and get you a team and we'll let you play. A lot of this XP is going to roll forward into Madden 19, and we're super excited. The board is already starting talks about Madden 19. I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the show. But for right now, let's talk playoffs. That's right. The AFC playoffs are pretty much set. They're set in stone. The Cincinnati Bengals are your number one seed. Let me see if I can pull this up by conference. Yeah, there we go. The number one seed is the Cincinnati Bengals. The number two seed is actually the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if Bill has that wrong or not. I'm going to have to lean on him. According to this, it shows the Miami Dolphins at number 3, the Oakland Raiders at number 2, the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans, and finally the New York Jets, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Denver Broncos barely get left on the outside. I'm going to come over to the front page, though, before we start breaking these down. I really wanted to get the guys on so that they could talk about their playoff predictions. My internet's running slow, guys. I got to apologize for that and tell you that next time I'll get it fixed. And as you can hear, life doesn't stop. The dryer's going off. Kids are going to be making noise here pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. But let me see if I can't get over to the standings where it usually does show your playoff standings. And there we go. So, yeah, Bill, I don't know if he got it right or wrong. I don't know what the game is showing, but Bill did have these 6 teams listed out, and the Denver Broncos and Jacksonville Jaguars just barely got left out. So our matchups are going to be the Miami Dolphins hosting the New York Jets, and then the Indianapolis Colts hosting the Tennessee Titans. D-Money finally got his team into the playoffs with his very first season of joining here with a team that was not built for him. I told you guys that was going to happen. That was the team that I picked to make it, and that was going to make for a pretty scary run. Let's just break it down. I like the Tennessee Titans. I think they're a very solid team. They're a team that I picked to make it into the playoffs this year, a team that I expected to be into the playoffs this year. I don't know how much clicking I'm going to do here. Evidently, my internet needs to be reset, and as you can see, it is showing me some ugly stuff as it still loads here very slowly. But the Tennessee Titans are a team that I liked. I think that their offense was clicking this year. You can see here they're 13th in points, they're 10th in total yards, 7th in passing, 16th in rushing, which is pretty good at 91.5 yards per game. And their defense was not bad, a top 10 defense, almost a top 5, 6th in points, 9th in yards, 10th in passing yards, 7th in rushing. Just a very good all-around team that really fought to get in there. They're going to face off against a really tough Indianapolis Colts team, though. A team that, again, I called just last week on Press Pass Live as a team that I thought for sure was going to make the playoffs, just because D-Money is one of those guys who just knows how to win. He understands what it takes. He understands what he's got to do to get his team ready. And he was able to put it all together, even with a team that was not built to fit him. Let's see if we can't get some of this to pull up. Again, I apologize for my internet. I should have done a reset right before I got here. But things happen sometimes. I was in a rush trying to get this show out. You do wonder about the passing yards that were 29th for the Indianapolis Colts, but D-Money is known for his defense, a lot like Mo in that vein of player where he's really good on offense, but it's the defense that creates opportunities for that offense. They're going to have a tough matchup against a very well-rounded team in the Tennessee Titans. I got to go the Colts in this one, though. I think the Colts have turned themselves into a red-hot team here late in the season. He's figured out how to win with a roster, again, that was not built for him. The Tennessee Titans, though, are going to make them fight for it. That should be a really, really good matchup between the 4 and 5 seed. It should be a fun one to watch. But get me the Indianapolis Colts there at home, coming away with a victory. Then you got the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. I like what the Dolphins have done this season. They've really showed me a couple of things. Number one, that they figured out how to win here late in the season. They were able to figure out how to not lose the games that they were supposed to win. He's never struggled with winning those games that he wasn't expected to win, but he's always struggled with lowering himself down, so to speak, to his competition and dropping some head scratchers of games throughout the season. Here you see those offenses play great. 15th in rushing yards, but still at 94.2, a little bit better than the Tennessee Titans were just a little earlier. That defense does give you some areas to be concerned. 4th in rushing is excellent. I think that's why those pass numbers are going to be a little more inflated, because teams are having to pass against him, and because of the amount of passes that he's getting, he's going to give up a little bit larger of an average. He's 15th in yards, so right middle of the pack, and 7th in 17 points per game on defense, which goes to show you that even though he may be giving up some passing yards, he is able to still figure out how to keep teams out of the end zone, which is causing his team to pick up some big wins. I like what this team looks like. And then going on the other side, the New York Jets. Now, we've always said that the Jets know how to turn things on late. They know how to be able to figure out a way to squeeze into the playoffs. Last year, I want to say he backed into the playoffs, still made it to the AFC Championship game, where he came away with a big victory against the Bengals and actually made it to the OMFL Bowl for season 78, which Mo really had his way in that game. But this Jets team seems to be different. They've won more. They're at 10-6, but the defense is not quite as good. They're 13th in points at 19 points per game. That number is usually much lower than that for the Jets. He's 22nd in passing yards, or 20th in passing yards, 22nd in total yards, and then really 23rd in rushing yards for 103.3 yards per game. That's a pretty big difference for a team that's usually known for stopping the run. And if you look on the other side, though, his offense has played spectacular. 4th in rushing at 120 yards per game. That is spectacular. 13th in total yards, 7th in points. And again, one of those teams that knows how to get into the red zone, and then with that really good offensive line and that running game, he's able to get in. I do hope and pull for the Miami Dolphins to win this one, just because I'd like to see him finally start to get over the hump. He's been one and done several different times in the playoffs. The Jets are going to be a tough task, though. But I'm going to pick with my heart on this one. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins at home in a tight field goal victory. Give me a 24-21 victory at home against the Jets. The Jets are a very good team. I will not be shocked if he comes away with a victory. I mean, the guy was in OMFL Bowl 78, so he does definitely know how to play. And I'm going to be honest, I'll say things that probably most commissioners would not admit to, but I think that guys play maybe not breaking the rules in the playoffs, but they definitely get gray areaed and bent a little bit when the playoffs arrive. And so I think that's going to make it even tougher for the Dolphins, because if that Jets defense starts doing what we've asked him not to do a lot of times, and that's putting 8, 9, 10 in the box sometimes, and shuts down that run and causes you to pass a whole lot more than he wants to, it could be a problem. But I do like the Miami offense. I do like his receivers, and that New York Jets defense really has struggled this year. Has not been the same defense as we have seen in the past. So that gives me the Colts and the Miami Dolphins coming away with a victory, and that would put the Colts going to face the Bengals, the Dolphins going to face the Raiders. I think that Bengals and Colts matchup just could be spectacular. Like, even with the Colts on the road, that could be a really, really good game against the Bengals, because these are two really good users, very good play callers, guys who set you up throughout their play calling to get your defense and your offense both in positions that they don't want to be. I am going to go with the Colts to win this one, though. I played the Bengals in Week 17. And I can tell you right now, it's like he's typed in a bunch of cheat codes that you can't figure out. I mean, his team just runs the ball well. He didn't have to pass the ball all that much, but when he did, his guys hung on to the ball. And on his defense, he swarms after you. He's going to blitz you. He's going to get you out of position, and you're going to have to make plays. The problem is, even when you catch the ball and make the right reads, at least in my game, your guys would get smashed, get hit, and drop the ball. I think that the Colts might have the team to play call his way into a victory. I do worry about the talent. The Bengals are going to have much more talent. That team is clearly built to fit him. I just think that the Colts play calling, Indianapolis play calling, could keep him in this and could come away. I'm calling for a victory against the Cincinnati Bengals in a massive upset. That also give us the Miami Dolphins going on the road to face the Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, whatever they are in this Madden. I don't know what they are. Against the Raiders, two teams that have been pretty even throughout the year. The Miami Dolphins finished with a little bit better of a conference record, but they did play in a little bit weaker of a division. I say that, I mean, the second place team for the AFC West was 8-8, whereas the second place team for the East was 10-6. So you got to give it to the Dolphins. They've earned this one. I just think that the Oakland Raiders have too much firepower. I think they're too loaded on defense, and that offense is really rolling with that run game. Let's see if we can. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back here. Let me pull up the Oakland Raiders really fast. The Oakland Raiders run game with Allison has been spectacular, at least from what I remember in the stats. I'm saying that now, and I'm probably going to pull it up and show something completely opposite. But this team has been on a roll. They figured out ways to win, and though they've struggled in the past, they were able to put it all together this season. And look, we had the call the other day on Press Pass Live where I wondered if they were really as good as we thought they were. We've been lulled into this before, but they really are, and they've shown that they are at 11-5. You do worry about the points scored on offense and defense. 18th on defense, 21st in offense, 18 points for, 20 against. That's not a good number that you're proud of. He's also given up the 31st, I should say, most rushing yards per game at 118.2, 277 total yards on defense. I mean, offense though, he's playing pretty well. 99 yards a game for 11th on his rushing attack, 19th in the passing yards, only 177 yards per game. You see that since we've went all Madden, those rushing numbers have went up, those passing numbers have come down, and the scores have kind of evened out, maybe a little below where they were in the past. But this is going to be a tough game for the Oakland Raiders. The Miami Dolphins have been playing really good football, and I'm going Miami again to get the victory on the road against the Oakland Raiders. Again, I love that passing attack. I love those receivers for the Dolphins, and their defense is playing really good football. Then that would bring us to the Miami Dolphins at home in the AFC Championship against the Indianapolis Colts. And I think that the Colts are going to come away with a victory there. I think sooner or later the Colts are going to run out of a talent issue, and that talent issue I think is going to show up when they get in OMFL Bowl 79, but it's not going to be an issue to get through the AFC. I think that when he gets in the AFC, it's going to be the play calling that pulls him through. He just out play calls everybody. I don't think that this is a knock against the Dolphins, the Bengals, or even against the Titans. I think at the end of the day, this just becomes a play calling issue, and I really think that, again, the Colts are one of the best play callers that we have in this league, and I think he's going to show it right here. So give me the Indianapolis Colts to go all the way through the AFC and make it to the AFC Championship to face, I don't know, let's talk about it. You got the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC at 15-1, the Atlanta Falcons at 12-3, the Chicago Bears at 10-5, the New York Giants make it at 9-7, and then the Panthers with the first wild card at 10-5, and the Redskins at 10-6. There is a game tonight, but I don't think it has much of any playoff implications. I think these are pretty much sewed up. The Cardinals might be able to sneak in with a win, but I don't think so. I think this one's going to be pretty much sewed up. Because the Cardinals would only be able to get in. Right? Do I have that right? Yeah, the Cardinals would only be able to get in on a wild card. They're not going to get any of those. And the Giants pretty much, theirs is over. They've got that thing locked up. There may be some flip-flop in there with seeding, but we'll kind of see how things play out. As of right now, the New York Giants have the 4th seed. So that's going to give Seattle and Atlanta a bye week. We've heard that story, read that book before. That's going to give you the Chicago Bears hosting the Washington Redskins and the New York Giants hosting the Carolina Panthers. This is going to be an interesting. Let's look at the Chicago Bears and Washington Redskins really quick. The Chicago Bears, we've talked about them before. They've kind of backed into the playoffs in the vein of that he hasn't been around. He's got a lot of CPU wins, but when he was around, he did play well. You have to hand it to him. His team has built well, and he has played pretty well. He did drop a game the other day, but overall he's played exceptionally well this season. He's first in rushing yards on defense. He's 8th in passing yards. He's 3rd in total yards and 5th in points allowed. That defense is very fast, very physical up front. It's the offense that scares you a little bit. 27th in points, 23rd in rushing, 22nd in passing, 18th in rushing yards allowed. So that's going to be a challenge when you get into the playoffs. Yes, you got to have a good defense, which is why he has an opportunity here, but your offense needs to be much better than what he's got there. The Washington Redskins and Big Hurt have played well. He's 20th in rushing yards, which is a little shocking because he's really high in everything else. 6th in passing, 8th in total, 9th in points. On the other side of the ball, he runs the ball really well. 111 rushing yards a game for 8th. But passing yards has been a struggle, 20th. Total yards, 12th, but that's because he gets the big boost from the rushing yards, and 11th in points scored. So you have to give it to him that overall his offense is scoring points, his defense is keeping teams from scoring, and this is going to be a big matchup. Who knows? This could be in the snow in Chicago. You're never not quite sure what's going to happen. But the reason I'm going to go with the Washington Redskins is because you can see from his stats it's not his passing game is the reason he's there. It's because of his defense and his rushing game. That won't be affected by the weather. And this will be almost a tell of two teams who both have strengths. Both the Bears with their number 1 rushing defense, the Washington Redskins with their 11th rushing offense. I do worry about the pass for both these teams. I think this is going to be a quick game. Both are going to run the ball a lot. Both are going to play great defense. It depends on who fumbles the ball more. I just think that the Washington Redskins have a little bit more skins on their wall, and I just mean they've played more games this year. Not long term, just more games he has underneath his wing this year, whereas the Bears, I think, may show a little rust and have shown that over the last 2 weeks. Then that'll bring us to our 4-5 matchup with the New York Giants against the Carolina Panthers. And this is going to be a good one. Now, the Giants have been up and down this whole time. Madden, Pepper has loved and hated this. I think maybe hate was pretty even, but he's had seasons where he's played better. And this season, he's just fought hard, right? He's fought the Redskins and somehow came away with with that victory that he needed and was able to win this division. I could be wrong on this. Maybe these numbers shouldn't show the way that they show here. This is the same thing that Bill had, was the New York Giants at number 4, and it may be that they're going to end up tied here or something. I don't know what the story is, but either way, if the matchups fall this way, I still like the Carolina Panthers to come out of this one. Simply put, because they have a rushing game and a rushing attack and a defense that can get after the quarterback. I think he swarms after the ball. He calls blitzes at the right time. He's got super fast playmakers coming off of the edge. And he's got really good receivers and just a good enough rushing game that's sneaky good. He may run the ball 10, 12 times without much, but then he's going to get those 1 or 2 big runs. And I think that the Giants are a really good team, but they've had a tough year. They've had a tough go at it. They've had to scratch and claw their way to where they are right now. So I like the Carolina Panthers to come out of that division. Either way of how these break up, I would still like both of those teams, even if these matches were a little flip-flopped, even if somehow the Cardinals would get placed in here in case one of those games still matters. I'm not 100% sure of what's left. I just know that advance is going to be tonight. I still like the Panthers and the Washington Redskins to come out of those 2 games. Then that would give us the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Washington Redskins, the Falcons hosting the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers just don't seem, they're like me, they just can't seem to figure out these Atlanta Falcons. They are just good from top to bottom, and it's tough to figure that team out and figure out how to attack them. The Falcons just seem to be able to get it all put together quickly. I like the Atlanta Falcons in that one just because these 2 teams know each other. There's not much there that can be broken down. We can take a look at the Atlanta Falcons real quick since we haven't. But there's not a whole lot there that you can break down because these teams just know each other super well. They've seen each other a zillion times. They've played each other a zillion times. They know how each team would play. You can see the Atlanta Falcons almost first across the board, second in rushes, only second place to the Chicago Bears. And then on offense, their top 5 offense outside of their passing numbers. And then taking a quick look at the Seattle Seahawks, they are just loaded from top to bottom, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 3rd, respectively, for their defensive categories. And then 1st in rushing yards, 1st in total yards, and 2nd in scoring. That team is also another team that's just loaded from top to bottom. One of the downsides, if any, is that these playoffs are probably going to take a while to complete because of people being on vacation. But it's totally fine. This is the last season, so whether we hurry through them and take a break or we just take a break and then slowly get through the playoffs, either way, there's not another season coming. We've already turned our focus to Hall of Fame imports and trying to find us a champion here for season 79. So I like the Seattle Seahawks to come out of this game with the Washington Redskins. Big Hurt's got a good team. He plays good football, but Seattle is just hands down the best team that we've seen in a very long time. A guy that's won, I think, 2 or maybe 3 in a row. It's probably 3 in a row. Probably going to win his 4th here. And then with the Atlanta Falcons, I've already called. I think the Atlanta Falcons come out of that one. That would give us Atlanta traveling to face the Seahawks in this one. I think that the Falcons are hungry. They've been gone from the game for a little bit. The Seahawks have a lot of like real life stuff, vacations and things. I like the Atlanta Falcons to sneak away with this one. Again, he's got the first-ranked offense across the board outside of rushing. The Seattle Seahawks and Falcons both have dynamic offenses. Both run the ball exceptionally well. Both will be playmakers. As long as the Atlanta Falcons don't turn the ball over, I think that they'll be just fine. This will be a close game. It's going to be super tight between 2 guys who know each other very well, who've played each other a ton. I like the Atlanta Falcons to come out of this one with a victory to get to I think their 4th, maybe their 3rd OMFL bowl for season 79. That would give us the Atlanta Falcons against the Indianapolis Colts. D-Money versus D-Wayne. This would be an instant classic matchup. A clash between 2 teams that are pretty different in the fact that I think that the Colts are going to get there on play calling alone, not necessarily their talent. The Atlanta Falcons have just built a great team. He's learned how to play linebacker very well, and nobody really runs the ball the way he runs the ball. A really clash of two titans in this league. If you don't know about the Colts and D-Money, you will know about them after these playoffs. This guy is going to be in the playoffs probably every single year. He's going to be up there fighting. He's going to be one of the best teams and possibly even win multiple championships here, which just makes our competitiveness of our league better. I like the Atlanta Falcons, though, to come away with a victory. I think this would be his third OMFL Bowl. I just think that the Falcons have a team that's built to fit him, to fit his style. The Colts have not had that opportunity. He joined here too late. This is his first season. He has not had an opportunity to turn this roster over to fit his style. He's going to get there on play calling. The Falcons are going to get there on play calling and talent. And I think that talent gap is going to show itself when they get into OMFL Bowl Season 79, because this is going to be a tough one for the Colts. And I've got the Atlanta Falcons winning the whole darn thing. I just see that that's the way that this thing's going to play out. So those are my predictions. Give me the Atlanta Falcons to take OMFL Bowl 79 and get us ready for Madden 19 and season number 80, which is a really big thing that we should all be proud of. And that's pretty much our breakdown. A couple of things, though, that I wanted to mention before I get on out of here is the fact that we have started to gear up for next season and for the things that are happening next season. So there's a couple of things that are out there that you guys need to be aware of. First is the imports. The imports are up. I'm going to start making videos this week of your imports. So here in the OMFL, we allow everybody to take one Madden-generated import with them, where we will create them in Madden 19 exactly as they are in this last season. We will not move into the new season exactly as they are when the Super Bowl is over. That is where we will stay. You can spend your XP and we will get that player ready. I will start making videos as soon as the Super Bowl is over. Everyone is starting to post their players already, so please make sure that you post your players. We just need your team name, their defensive alignment or offensive alignment, their position. All right, I don't know why I'm trying to get fancy. Their player's name and then a link to their Daddy Leagues page. I will edit this post that you put up with a video of your import so that when we get in Madden 19, we'll have the video that we can watch along with the Daddy Leagues link. Hopefully it still works, that we can use just to make sure that we get your player attributes right. So you're probably thinking, well, they added some new attributes. What are we going to do about those? I don't know. Just being totally honest with you. We're going to look at your player. We're going to look at their stats, and we're just going to create something. We're going to give you something we feel is fair without giving you a 99 overall player, which I'm sure most of these players could be. We'll give you something that's fair, something that's right, but make sure that you post those. Also is the OMFL Hall of Fame. That post is going to go up tonight, so make sure that you look for Colin to give you your link to the Hall of Fame. We're looking for you to tell us why that player should be in the Hall of Fame. Give us their name. I'll go get a picture of them. And to get voted into the Hall of Fame, they must have 5 of the 6 board members vote them in. And so post your player, post their stats, post why we should think about it. We will put it up in the boardroom, and we will post our thoughts and give our votes. And then we'll let you know who made the Hall of Fame. Right now, there's only 2 current players in the Hall of Fame. You can see those by going to our forums. I think that they are under... Probably going to get this wrong, but I think it's League and Team Media Hub, which I'm probably going to change the name of. They are not in here. I think they're going to be under the incentives then. I just wanted to show you these real quick just so you get an idea of exactly what we're talking about if you're new here. But if you go to incentives, records, that's where it's at. These are all the records here in the OMFL. You can see the Player Hall of Fame. These are all of the humans. I mean, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. These are all of the Madden players that have made it. So right now it's just Ruben Smart, my guy that I had, and then Ben Dwight that was over in Indianapolis. Those are the only 2 Hall of Famers, but we're going to make a graphic just like this for your player if they get voted into the Hall of Fame, and that is our growing Hall of Fame from Madden 17. We'll get one up there for Madden 18. We also have the Human Player Hall of Fame that's up here, which will probably induct a new member or 2 in this offseason. But you can see we even have some very active Hall of Famers. 00 is a Hall of Famer that's here with us. And there's probably going to, I may even elect some more current guys who we know will be in the Hall of Fame, and then Bills, who is a Hall of Fame and helps us with our scheduling. So finally, check out our Twitter, Grown Folks OC on Twitter, Grown Folks Online Community on YouTube, and then grownfolksoc.com on our website. But make sure you check everything out, man. There's tons and tons of new content, tons of new things coming out. Make sure you give us a like and a subscribe on our videos and our content that we're getting out there. Just a lot of good, exciting reasons to be in the OMFL, in the Grown Folks Online community. And to be honest, I'm trying to grow us as often as I possibly can. There's a league that I've been basically trying to beg to come over from Xbox and come join us. I'd love to add them to our community. And you're probably wondering, what do I do for the next couple of weeks? There's no Madden. There's not going to be any playoffs. What do I do to keep myself busy? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Come join one of the other leagues that we have. We have a WWE league. There's golf. There's the FIFA Pro Team, H1Z1, Call of Duty, Fortnite, the 2K basketball league. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff that you can do to get involved in. So we'd love to see you. Love to have you come join us and hang out with us and have a good time. Hey, help us push our content out there. A new Daddy Leagues podcast is going to come out this week. You don't want to miss it. We're going to have the NBL, the Madden Ballers League, the guys, the creme de la creme. They're going to be on our show, and we can't wait to have that. So thank you so much again for listening to me ramble all by myself. I hope that you have enjoyed the show. If you had, again, give us a like, a subscribe, a retweet. Get our stuff out there. Let everybody else see it. We will see you next week. We're going to talk some Madden 19. We're going to talk some changes here in the OMFL. What's the new game going to cause us to adjust and change and make different? All of that's going to be on our next discussion. So until then, we'll see you. Peace.